You basically have a private virtual tutor in your pocket 24/7 who can help you with your English. I'm talking about ChatGPT. It's an incredible new artificial intelligence program which can help you with so many things, but today I'm going to explain how it can help you with your English vocabulary, reading, communication, grammar, phrasal verbs, and everything else. So, are you ready to experience the future of language learning? Listen, whether you're studying at home or at school or with a private tutor or with courses, that's great and keep doing what you're doing. But ChatGPT is an additional tool that can just make the learning process easier for you. Because, when you're not in class, when you're not with the teacher, when it's the middle of the night and you're desperate for an answer to help you with your English, then ChatGPT is always there for you. So we're going to have a look today at 6 different ways that you can use ChatGPT to really expand and increase your knowledge of English. Let's get started. So you're reading a book in English, or you're reading an article online, or some documentation for work, which is in English. And you find a word, which is a key word that you don't understand. And you want to learn it. So you could go to the dictionary and find the definition, but ChatGPT is a more interactive way of learning about that new word and seeing it in a variety of different contexts. So for example, you could write in the chat on ChatGPT, what's the meaning of demeanor? And in about 2 seconds, it would give you a definition of that word. Maybe you don't understand the definition, so you can just write, please define it in simpler English. And in 2 seconds, it would give you a simpler explanation of that word. Then write, use it in a sentence. Again, it might give you a complicated sentence, so just write, use it in a simpler sentence, and it would give it you in a simpler sentence. Now, the thing is about ChatGPT is that little by little, it learns about your preferences. So if you repeatedly ask it to give you things in a simpler version of English or in a more advanced version of English, it will learn your preferences and it will give you future definitions of words that you ask in the level of English that you have. I mean, isn't that cool? Okay, let's have a look now at how it can help you with your grammar. As I said, it's like having a little private teacher in your pocket. So if you're having a problem with grammar, or if you're not sure about a verb tense or the difference between 2 words, you can ask ChatGPT. It will give you an explanation to help you understand your problem, and it will also give you example sentences so you can see it in use. For example, you could just write, hey, what's the difference between despite and in spite of? And it would give you a big definition and a big explanation of the differences and how and when we use each one. And when you're asking for example sentences, I always think it's a good idea not just to ask for 1, but to ask for about 5, and then you can see it in different contexts and really get a feel for how it is used in English. As you know, phrasal verbs are something that English students love, right? Well, you can use ChatGPT to help you learn common phrasal verbs, learn the meaning of them, learn different meanings of them. You could say, for example, give me all the definitions of this phrasal verb, and it would give you each of the definitions of a phrasal verb with some examples. And you can also ask it to give you a test on phrasal verbs. I mean, this works for grammar too, but if you just want to have a quick exercise to practice some phrasal verbs or practice a particular grammar point, just ask ChatGPT. So what you could do is say, hey, give me 10 phrasal verbs with their definition and example sentences in English. Then you would learn the phrasal verbs, and then you could say, now give me a test on these phrasal verbs, and don't tell me the answers yet. Then you do the test, then you ask it to tell you the answers, and you mark your own test. I mean, if you've never heard of this before, you're probably thinking, like, wow, does ChatGPT know everything? Can it replace teachers? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion on that at the end of the video. But for now, I'm going to show you my favorite way that it can help you with your English. I love this way. Okay, so ChatGPT can help you with your writing skills in English. It can give you feedback, it can help you with your grammar, it can correct your spelling, and it can also help you with your sentence structure. And you can even get advice and feedback on how to make your text more engaging, more dynamic, more fun, more interesting, or more structured. I mean, this can be an absolutely incredible way to practice your English writing if you're preparing for an exam. But you can also use it if you're writing an important email for work. You can go to ChatGPT, put the email there, and say, please correct this email. And you can even say, please make this sound more professional. And it will change some of the vocabulary and some of the expressions to make that email sound more formal and more professional and change the tone. Maybe you want it to sound more friendly. So just say, make this email sound more friendly. And in about 3 seconds, you will have the more friendly version of your email. If you are using it just to improve your English or to practice for a writing exam, don't just ask it to correct your text. After it has corrected your text, ask it to summarize the corrections it has made. And then you can actually see the mistakes you've made, see why they were wrong, and learn from those mistakes so that you actually improve, which is the idea, for next time. This is another amazing way that you can use ChatGPT to practice your English. Now, it's ChatGPT, so it is actually a chatbot, and you can have a chat with it. Just say, hey, can we have a conversation about volcanoes? And it will start a conversation with you about volcanoes. You might then want to say, great, let's do this, but could you correct my English while we are chatting? And it will say, of course. And you can have a conversation with it, typing, and it will correct your English as you are talking with it. This simulated conversation reminds me of when I was learning French when I was about 17 or 18, when chat rooms were still a thing, and you could go and communicate in a virtual room with people from around the world. I used to do this in French, and it was a great way just to get your mind into communicating in a foreign language. It just helps you get that communication practice, and it's just a bit of fun. Obviously, when I did it in chat rooms, it was exciting because you were talking to people from different parts of the world. Here, you're talking to a robot, but you get corrections, and it's still a great way to chat about any topic in English. And of course, ChatGPT can also help you with your reading comprehension skills. It can provide you with an article. If you're interested in volcanoes, you could say, hey, could you give me a 100-word article or 200-word article about volcanoes? and it will give you one. If the text is too advanced, as I said before, you can just say, hey, could you put that in simpler English, please? Or if you want to really challenge yourself and really push your English vocabulary and learn new structures, then you could say, hey, could you put this in more advanced English for me, please? And then you can ask it to summarize some of the key vocabulary from that article, and it'll just give you a list of some of the key vocabulary on the topic of volcanoes. And again, if you're unsure about some of those words, just ask it to define them, give you a definition, use it in some examples to help you expand your vocabulary. Now, another way that you can use this to help you improve your reading comprehension, and this is another good tactic if you're practicing for an exam, once you've got the article, just ask it to provide some questions on the article. Say, please provide 5 reading comprehension questions on this article. And it will give you them. And once you've answered them, ask it for the answers and check your answers. So now for the big, scary question. Well, I don't think so. I think people generally enjoy learning from other people, not from robots. I think it's more dynamic, it's more engaging, it's more personal. I mean, I think of the subjects that I loved at school, and I loved them because I loved the teachers that were teaching them. My French teachers were all amazing, and it's because of them that I followed a life in languages. If I had had a horrible French teacher at school, then who knows? I might be a scientist or something right now. So yes, this is a fantastic tool. It's really futuristic, it's really fun, and it can really help you with everything I've mentioned today. But I think it will be a really useful addition to a human teacher rather than a replacement for a human teacher. So what do you think? Have you used ChatGPT for anything? What have you used it for? And which other ways do you know that we could use it to help us learn English? Let everybody know in the comments. So even after watching this video, if you still want to learn with a human, you can do 3 things. 1, you can download that book. There, I teach you all the common mistakes that students make in English. Secondly, you can subscribe to this channel. You know how to subscribe on YouTube by now, I'm sure. And thirdly, you can watch that video next, because YouTube is a clever robot too. And YouTube thinks that you are going to love that video. So, enjoy that book. It's free. And I'll see you in that video next. Bye for now.